Hello! Hello everybody, and what is going on? So today is April 1st, first day of the month, April Fool's Day. The title says that we're doing a Q&A, but haha, April Fools, there is no Q&A. Bye! Can you imagine? So today we are doing a Q&A video. I put it out there on my Instagram that we're doing a Q&A, and over 300 of you commented a question. Obviously, I'm not gonna do 300 questions. This would be a very, very long video. So I've picked up a handful and we're gonna go with that. Also, a quick little side note, if your question wasn't answered in today's video, I am gonna do more of these YouTube Q&As. I do even more Q&A stuff on my Instagram stories. And I do even more Q&As on my Instagram live streams. And that's on my Instagram at askm8, quick plug. So without further ado, let's jump straight into this Q&A session. First question of the day. What is your favorite film? Constantine, pre-John Wick, Keanu Reeves at his finest. It's literally one of those films that I could watch every single time that it's on TV. It's just one of those films that I never get tired of. And I think every single one of us has that film that we can never get tired of. So let me know your film in the comment section down below. What inspired you to start thrifting, and what was your first flame find? So I started thrifting because one day my sister came back from a charity shop and she got a couple of cool vintage sportswear brands like some vintage Puma, Adidas, Nike, that kind of thing. And I was like, that's 100% flames. I'm doing that for the rest of my life now. And then it just sort of evolved from there. Secondly, my first flame find was 100% accidental. I talk about this item pretty much every single time I talk about thrifting, but it is the P-Wing. Now, if you frequent my channel, this is the epitome of my achievements. Getting this P-Wing for £1 without knowing what it is. Do you understand how close this P-Wing was to going on the Depop page at about £20? But I am so glad that I held on to it. Next question. What shoes do you think are a must cop in every wardrobe? So if you're looking for a pair of essential shoes, just a pair of daily beaters, I would recommend old school skate shoes like the Vans Old Schools, the Converse One Stars, the Nike SB GTSs. Alternatively, if you're not into skate shoes, then I recommend some Nike Air Force Ones in all white or all black. If you're looking for comfort, anything in the Adidas Boost range, or if you're looking for a little bit of vintage flex, any of the Jordan Retros 1 through 6. But that's just my personal opinion. What is the best way to start selling thrifted clothes, and what about the shipping? How did you start? So the best way to start selling thrifted clothing / vintage clothing would be on Depop, just because it's quick, easy and simple. You can go on marketplace Facebook pages like The Basement, Wavy Garms, but Depop is your best bet just because they focus on more thrifted and vintage clothing. Secondly, if you want to improve your chances of selling, it's just all standard stuff. Do your homework on your brand, see which brand sells. For example, vintage Tommy Hilfiger and vintage Ralph Lauren go really fast on Depop. Secondly, make sure the pictures that you take are of a certain standard, like putting it on a plain background or getting creative with it. Thirdly, do a good description, make it clear and honest. And also, if you want to get onto the Explore page, Depop have this whole guide on it. As for shipping, you can include it in your base price or have it in its own little section. And as for how I personally started, I went off with a bang. I thrifted over 50 items and put them on all up at the same time, got my rating up really, really fast and became a trusted seller. Next question. The Wotherspoon Cross Nike question mark. So I assume we're talking about the Sean Wotherspoon Nike Air Max. Now, these shoes have been in the public eye since last year, since last Air Max Day even. And every single day since then, these shoes have been on my Instagram feed, all over my Twitter, and yeah, they are sick shoes. I absolutely love them, but they've been hyped up for like a whole year. So about 6 months down the line, I started to gain this attitude of, oh my God, can these shoes just drop already? And then when it came to drop day, I took a salty L. All of my raffles were duds. The sneaker app crashed. I had a very negative experience. As for the shoes, they're sick, but I still kind of prefer mini swooshes. Opinions on what Burberry's new approach to fashion, particularly their approach towards streetwear this year? Would you say that they're making the transition from high-end to streetwear like Louis Vuitton did with their Supreme collab and recent appointment of Virgil? Okay, so personally, I don't think that Burberry is becoming a streetwear brand. I do think streetwear is the hot new cool thing in fashion. In my personal opinion, streetwear has never been bigger. There are a lot of contributing factors. However, when it comes to Burberry especially, I kind of love the fact that Burberry are being influenced by streetwear, just because I think from my point of view, it's come full circle. I don't claim to be an expert on the whole thing, but it's just a mad thing to see. How would you describe your style? Normcore, grunge, thrift, etc. I think you've already got 3 down. I couldn't really put my style in a category. I mean, if you're gonna call it anything, then it probably would be thrift or vintage. But at the same time, I do like to take elements from other styles and just like put it into this whole melting pot. And somewhere in there, you would have my style. In my personal opinion, it's always good to be fluid and flexible with your style because fashion is always changing and you should always be aware of that. Who is your all-time waifu? Hit for me off New Game. Swiftly moving on. What is your opinion on the Air VaporMax 97 Silver Bullets? So when I first saw this, I had mixed opinions. I didn't really know what to think of the VaporMax 97 crossover, but I did have a feeling that I've seen it somewhere before until it hit me last Air Max Day. Have Nike actually plagiarized? I'll leave that for you to decide. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below because that is interesting. Do you have any advice for people who live in places where being different clothing wise is shunned on? Okay, so I get this question quite often. For me personally, I know that I dress different, a little bit eccentric, and that doesn't come without its consequences. For example, it's just an age-old thing that if a particular person sees something different that they don't understand, then they're gonna make fun of it. However, in my personal opinion, it doesn't matter what you dress like. You are never going to please 100% of every single person you meet. For example, I could put up a picture of Kanye West, do a little poll, is this fire or trash? And you're never gonna get a 100% result of this is 100% fire or this is 100% trash. The opinion is always going to be split. So with all of that in mind, just dress how you want. People are always gonna have something to say about your outfits, especially if you dress a little bit different. Waffle Gang, Cozy Boys, you're done though. How did you feel when that razor... How did you feel when the razor went through your hair, making you bald? Devastated, but liberated at the same time. What are your thoughts on the DBZ Adidas collab, the Bape DBZ collab, also any new music madness dropping soon, man? So firstly, the Dragon Ball Adidas collab, the only shoes that I really liked were the Frieza Young ones, the Bape DBZ collab, and thirdly, there is new music coming soon. Just like hold on for a little bit longer. Use this comment to plug your Spotify because I'm genuinely curious on what music you listen to. So thank you for this opportunity to plug my Spotify. So I've got a few Spotify playlists that I listen to regularly. I've got the Bonsai Tree, which is like R&B stuff. Cool and the Gang, which is like rap and hip hop. Bouncy Castle, which is like dance and house music. Strawberry Cheesecake, which is like 80s and vaporwave. And Sovereign Ring, which is like down tempo, like Lana Del Rey type stuff. So all of the links to my Spotify playlist will be left in the description down below. Also, I will be making new playlists very, very soon with even more cool anime girls. 2D girls only. How's the new apartment treating you? It is a lot easier to make videos. Why do you love the vintage style so much? So there's a few reasons why I love vintage style. One of which is you'll never find 2 vintage outfits that are exactly the same. They may be very, very similar, maybe have the same pattern or the same silhouette or whatever. But when it comes to pieces, vintage style is in its own element. You've got a 20 to 40 year catalog of clothing to go through from endless amounts of brands. And secondly, I quite like the idea of recycling clothes. I mean, you are wearing clothes that are like 20 plus years old. It is a massive contrast to fashion now, where fast fashion just churns out clothes, mass producing it. But vintage fashion has been there all of this time, and it's never been a better time to get into it. Where are your main spots to shop at? Mainly online. I've got like an entire video called like 107 places to shop online. Quick plug, I'll put it in like a card, which should probably be there or there, because leaving the house is overrated. Who's the hottest Uber driver you've ever had? I have never went to Uber Java. Advice for people who want to get into fashion. So the best advice I can give is to have fun with it. Just find someone that you resonate with or that you like the vibe of and sort of go from there. For me, I got into streetwear through hypebeast style, I would say, and eventually found my way to what I'm dressing like now. And that was our Q&A. So again, I'd just like to thank every single person who submitted a question. If you've got any more questions that you want me to answer, then leave them in the comment section down below. I answer even more questions over on my Instagram, on my stories, on my live streams, so follow me on there at askm8. So that is where I'm going to end today's video. So if you like this video, then you can give it a nice little like. If you want to subscribe and see more of what I do, because I do a lot of fashion-based stuff, lifestyle-based stuff, and style-based stuff, then you can by using the subscribe button that can be located anywhere on this webpage here. Share this video with your friends, Waffle Gang, Cozy Boys, you dunno. And now, that is everything. Bye. I am so good at that outro.